Came up hard on a county road with a lunch pail lit in a borrowed coat, old work boots thin at the toe, and a father's silence he learned to hold. He took the long way through every town when a cleaner road would have let him down. He said what he meant, let the cards fall where they would in the dust of the county fair. They told him, son, you're making it worse. Take the deal, swallow the hurt. But he'd just stare at the floorboards, quiet and still, like a man already paying the bill. He never bent, he never sold, not for a ring of keys, not for a hand to hold. He lost a lot, Lord, that's true, but he kept the one thing they couldn't take from him too. He never bent, he wore the cuts, and when the world said he yield, he said that's not enough. Some men break to make it through. He carried the weight and stayed with the truth. He watched good women turn and go because he wouldn't dress up what he didn't know. Wouldn't lie sweet just to keep the peace. Wouldn't nod along for a shot at ease. Lost a job to a man with charm. Lost a house with a screened-in porch and a yard. Lost sleep to a stubborn pride, and nights he wished he could turn aside. He wasn't clean, he wasn't kind. Every bridge he burned lit up the night. He made his share of damage, that's for sure. A hard man's heart can still keep score. But when the cheap talk came in dressed as grace, he could smell the rotten, its fine lace. He'd rather be lonely and plain as rain than wear a grin to hide the stain. He never bent, he never sold, not for a ring of keys, not for a hand to hold. He lost a lot, Lord, that's true, but he kept the one thing they couldn't take from him too. He never bent, he wore the cuts, and when the world said yield, he said that's not enough. Some men break to make it through. He carried the weight and stayed with the truth. Now the bar is quiet, closing down. A few old ghosts and a barman's frown. His name hangs soft in a cracked lit room, like smoke that don't know when to leave. He counts the prices with weathered hands, the missed off letters, the half-mended plans. The birthday's gone, the chair's left bare, the chance he threw into thin air. And still in the glass he can see his face, not perfect, no, but in one piece. There's blood on the road and ash on the tongue, and a soul that never was bought or run. He don't call it winning, don't call it grace. He just knows he lived in his own shape. And when the night comes taking its due, there's less to fear when you have nothing to lose. He never bent, he never sold, not for a ring of keys, not for a hand to hold. He lost a lot, Lord, that's true, but he kept the one thing they couldn't take from him too. He never bent, he wore the cuts, and when the world said yield, he said that's not enough. Some men break to make it through. He carried the weight and stayed with the truth. He's got a brother buried up in clay, a wife who left and had her say, a son he loved but never learned how to reach him before the good years burn. He's got a note in a dresser drawer from a girl who asked for one thing more. Meet me halfway, that line still stings. He read it once and chose his things. Maybe pride is just a kind of name for the one that never learned to cave. Maybe he'd trade a little peace for one less mile of memory. Still when the dome comes pale and cold, and the highway shows its broken bones. He can face that morning clear and plain, with every scar still saying the same. He never bent, he never sold, not for a ring of keys, not for a hand to hold. He lost a lot, Lord, that's true, but he kept the one thing they couldn't take from him.